Welcome. Today, we're going to unravel a story that feels like it's straight out of a cyberpunk novel. We're talking about cryptocurrency, sure, but also international spies and a legal question that could literally change how we think about law itself. So, let me just start with this question. Can you put software in jail? I mean, seriously, think about that. Can you arrest a piece of code? Can you put an algorithm on a sanctions list? It sounds totally absurd, right? But believe it or not, this is the very real question at the heart of the Tornado Cash story. Because back in 2022, the US Treasury Department did something nobody had ever seen before. It didn't sanction a person, or a country, or a company. It sanctioned a piece of open-source software called Tornado Cash. And that one move sent absolute shockwaves through the tech and finance worlds, and it kicked off a legal fight that could redefine the future of the internet.
So let's get into it. The US government took aim at the software itself. I mean, this was a move that caught everyone off guard. And it made everybody ask two really important questions. What in the world is Tornado Cash, and why was it considered so dangerous that it had to be stopped?
What does Tornado Cash actually do? It's a tool built to solve a privacy problem.
Every single transaction is recorded for the whole world to see and trace. Someone from Gate.com put it perfectly with this analogy. Using a mixer is like a single person blending into a massive, bustling crowd. Your transaction just becomes one more anonymous face in the sea of people. It's also the perfect hiding place for someone who has a very good reason to hide.
And that brings us to the dark side of this technology. Because while privacy is a totally legitimate goal for a lot of people, this level of untraceability is also, you guessed it, an unbelievably powerful tool for criminals who want to cover their tracks.
Just look at this number. In just the first half of 2022, more than $2 billion in crypto was stolen in various hacks and exploits. And we're not talking about small-time stuff. These are massive digital bank robberies. And when you steal that much digital cash, you have a huge problem. How do you wash it? How do you make it clean?
Well, intelligence agencies have pointed the finger at one group in particular for many of the biggest heists. State-sponsored hackers from North Korea, famously known as the Lazarus Group. And get this, they're not just hacking for personal profit. They're hacking to fund an entire nation, using the stolen crypto to get around international sanctions and finance North Korea's nuclear and missile program.
And what was their absolute favorite #1 method for laundering these billions in stolen crypto? You guessed it, Tornado Cash. It became the go-to digital laundromat for state-sponsored cyber criminals. And right there, that's why the US government felt it had to take such an extreme step. From their point of view, this code wasn't just some neutral privacy tool, it was a critical piece of infrastructure helping a hostile nation build weapons. Okay, but how is this level of perfect, untraceable privacy even possible? The answer isn't some simple coding trick. It's actually powered by one of the most mind-bendingly advanced forms of cryptography ever created, something called zero-knowledge proofs. Here's the core technical problem they had to solve. To get your money out, you have to prove to the system that you actually put money in, right? But if you show which deposit was yours, well, you've just blown your own cover and destroyed your privacy. So the question becomes, how can you prove something is true without revealing the secret information that makes it true?
And the answer is this incredible cryptographic invention called a zero-knowledge proof, or ZKP. Let me give you a simple analogy. Imagine your friend has two marbles, one red and one green. To you, they look different, but your friend is colorblind, so to them, the marbles are identical. You can prove to your friend that you're not colorblind without ever telling him the color of the marbles. You just have him hide one in his hand, and you correctly guess which one it is over and over. He becomes convinced you can tell them apart, but you never revealed the secret, the actual color. That's a ZKP, proving you know something without revealing the thing you know.
So, remember that secret note we talked about earlier? That's a zero-knowledge proof. It's what allows a user to mathematically prove to the Tornado Cash smart contract, which is just a program running automatically, hey, I am the rightful owner of 10 coins in this pool, without giving up any information that would link them to the specific 10 coins they originally put in. That is the cryptographic engine that makes this entire privacy machine work. So you have the government cracking down on what it sees as a massive money laundering tool. And on the other side, you have technologists and privacy advocates defending what they see as a neutral, essential piece of technology. A historic legal battle was pretty much guaranteed.
And that's exactly what happened. 6 people, including developers and regular users, one of whom used Tornado Cash just to donate to Ukraine without becoming a target, sued the US Treasury. Their argument was really simple and profound. You can't sanction a tool, You can't put a piece of software on a blacklist any more than you can sanction the multiplication table.
The entire case really boiled down to this one fundamental legal question. The government argued that Tornado Cash was an entity or a piece of property that someone controlled, and therefore it could be sanctioned. But the appeals court, the Fifth Circuit, came to a completely different conclusion. They ruled that these kinds of automated, unchangeable smart contracts are not property in the legal sense. And why? Because no one can own them or control them.
And this is the absolute key to the whole thing. Once the developers deployed the Tornado Cash code to the blockchain, it just ran. It became autonomous. The people who wrote it couldn't change it, they couldn't stop it, they couldn't control it in any way. So the court reasoned that if nobody is in control, it can't be property. It's like, how can you sanction the force of gravity? You can't, because no one owns it. The court saw this code in a similar light.
And so, in a bombshell decision, the Fifth Circuit reversed the sanction. It was a massive win for the plaintiffs. But this wasn't just about crypto anymore. This ruling set a huge legal precedent that autonomous, unchangeable code might actually exist beyond the reach of traditional government control. And that raises enormous questions for the future of all software.
Which leaves us with this final massive question. The whole Tornado Cash saga is the perfect example of the biggest dilemma of our digital age, that constant clash between our desire for individual privacy and the government's need for security. Is total financial privacy a fundamental human right, or is it an existential threat to global order? This case didn't give us the final answer, but it's a question we're all going to have to wrestle with as we move deeper into this new digital world.